ratio, proportion and variation. So we are going to cover ratio, proportion and variation. So we shall be dealing this topic in 2 or 3 lectures, and initially we shall start with the basics, and then after we will move on to solve some of the questions which come inside the MBA entrance exams. We shall not be leaving behind any of the concept here. So let us see what is a ratio. So for all those people who say that they are quite weak at quants, they should really understand what's the meaning of a ratio. So first thing you should know is that ratio is only defined for quantities having same units. Having same units. So if I say that A is having 2 books and B has 3 books, so we can say that A and B have books in the ratio of 2:3. So it's noted like this, that A is to B is 2:3. So A and B are having books in the ratio of 2:3. Now if I say that A is having 2 cows and B is having 3 books, then we cannot define the ratio in this case, because the units should be similar. If the units are not similar, we cannot define ratio in that case. Now, so a ratio can be simply written as A by B, where A is called antecedent and B is called consequent. So A is called antecedent and B is called consequent. Now, so this is about ratio. So if you're given that Ram and Shyam are having books in the ratio of 2:3, so it's not required that Ram will have 2 books and Shyam will have 3 books. Even if Ram has 4 books and Shyam has 6 books, still the ratio comes out to be 2:3. So whenever you are given that Ram and Shyam have books in the ratio of 2:3, so what you can say is that Ram will have some 2K books and Shyam will have some 3K books. So this concept is very important while you are actually dealing with the ratio. So the ratio doesn't tell you the exact quantity of things which is there with a person. It tells you the ratio. So whenever you are given a ratio, you can assume the exact quantity to be 2 into some multiple and 3 into the same multiple. So this is one thing that you should always keep in your mind. Now we shall be seeing some of the properties of ratios here. We shall be seeing some of the properties of ratios here. So the first property of ratio is the value of ratio doesn't change when numerator and denominator are multiplied by the same quantity. So if I say A by B is my ratio, so that will be equals to MA by MB. So if you multiply both numerator and denominator by a constant, by the same constant, then obviously the value is not going to change. The second property is, even like if you divide it by the same constant, suppose I divide it by L, still the value remains the same. So if we multiply both numerator and denominator with the same quantity, the value remains the same. If you divide numerator and denominator by the same quantity, the value remains the same. Right? Now, when 2 or more ratios are multiplied with each other, the resultant is called the compounded ratio. So if I have 2 ratios like this, A by B and C by D, so these are the 2 ratios. And if I do it like this, A by B into C by D, so it becomes AC by BD. So this will be called the compounded ratio of A by B and C by D. So this is very important. Right, so the first concept was if you multiply both numerator and denominator with the same quantity, the ratio remains the same. Even if you divide, it remains the same. And if you multiply 2 or 3 ratios, the resultant ratio will be called a compounded ratio. Now, if there is one point which you should be knowing, that if you multiply the same ratio 2 times, the resultant is called duplicate ratio. So if I do it like this, that I multiply A by B and A by B, so I got A by B whole square, and this is called duplicate ratio of A by B. Similarly, I can say A by B cube is actually triplicate ratio of A by B. Now, another thing, if you take the square root, that will be called subduplicate ratio of A by B, and that goes on. So these all terms should be clear in your mind, and because it becomes very important, like because these terms are given directly in the exam, so this should be there. Now there is another property which you should be knowing, is that A by B is equals to C plus AM divided by D plus BM. Now this can only happen if and only if A by B is equals to C by D. So this is one thing which is very important, that A by B will be equals to C by D plus some multiple of the same ratio only if A by B is equals to C by D. Now there are many other properties that we need to cover here. Now we shall be taking questions based on this in the later part of our lecture. But first of all, you should be familiar with all these concepts, all these simple basic concepts which are actually very important. Now, the next thing we shall take is that let us suppose I have a term k, constant term k, and this k is greater than 0, and I have a ratio A by B that is greater than 1. So what I can say is that A by B will always be greater than A plus K divided by B plus K if this condition is there. And A by B will always be less than A minus K divided by B minus K. So this is something which you should keep in your mind. Like if K is a positive constant and A by B ratio is greater than 1, then A by B will be greater than A plus K divided by B plus K, and A by B will be less than A minus K divided by B minus K. Now, the same thing, that is K greater than 0, but in this case A by B is less than 1. The things will actually reverse. So A by B will be less than A plus K divided by B plus K, and A by B will be greater than A minus K divided by B minus K. So this is very important. So these 2 points you should keep in your mind while actually solving questions of ratios. Now there's another thing. Let us suppose that you have a set of ratios such that A by B is equals to C by D is equals to E by F, and so on, and all of them are equals to K. So what you can say is that A plus C plus E so on divided by B plus D plus F so on will also be equals to K. So this is very important, that if you have all those equal ratios that is equals to K, so the summation of the numerator divided by the summation of denominator will also be equals to K. Now there are 2 more things which are important in this topic, which I shall be taking up now, and we'll be doing questions on this. We shall be taking up all these concepts, so you should keep all these concepts in your mind. You should write it down in your notebook. So let us suppose you have been given with two ratios. Suppose A is to B and B is to C, and you need to find out A is to B is to C. Let us take an example. Suppose given with two ratios, 2 is to 3. Suppose given A is to B is equals to 2 is to 3, and B is to C is given as 5 is to 9, and you are required to find out A is to B is to C. So how will you do that? Now whenever you get a question like this, simple funda is that you can find that B is common between the two ratios. So B is this thing and B here is this thing. You have to make both these things same. So what I can do is that I know if I multiply both numerator and denominator of a ratio with a constant term, the value is not going to change. So if I multiply both numerator and denominator by 5, so what I am going to get is that 10 is to 15. And here in this ratio, if I multiply both numerator and denominator by 3, so I shall get 15 is to 27. Now both these terms became same. So I can directly write from here A is to B is to C will be equals to 10 is to 15, that is the common thing, is to 27. So there you can actually find out the ratio between A, B and C. Simple. If you let us suppose you have been given with 5 ratios, A is to B, B is to C, C is to D, D is to E. These 4 ratios are given, and you need to find out A is to B is to C is to D is to E. So in these kind of a question, you should write it down it like this: A, B, C, D. That is A, B, C, D, the first terms, and then the second terms, that is the B, C, D, E. And let us start it like this. First of all, you have to multiply these terms. So you'll get A into B into C into D is to. Let's start from here and go like this. So B into B into C into D. Then after, start from here, but now go like this. So it will be B into C into C into D. Again I start from here, but go like this. That will be B into C into D into D is to this thing. So B into C into D into E. Now this thing is actually this thing. So this is very simple. First of all, you have to multiply these terms, then start from here and get going like this. So this will give you the ratio between all the 5 numbers. Okay. So this is about the basic concept of ratios. We'll be seeing questions based on this in the next lecture. We shall be covering it slowly. So don't worry about this. Just brush up all the things that were taught in this lecture. Thank you. Stay tuned to Success Chamber.